Hi guys, so I am super excited to be sitting down and filming this video. Today's video has fluctuated, like the title has fluctuated many times because I have been meaning to film this update for literally weeks. And so it started off as like, I'm gonna do a 17-week update. Okay, I'll do an 18-week update. And my hair is driving me crazy too, which is also something when I sit and film chatty videos, I'm always like, playing with my hair. But anyways, now today's video has turned into a 22/23 week update, and I have been taking notes. So I'm going to be going over all of the things that I have been feeling, the symptoms that I've been having. I'm obviously going to show you guys a bump date, even though if you've been watching my day in my life videos, you have seen what has been going on with my bump. And I'm not going to talk today about our birth plan because I am actually going to sit down and film that very soon with Dan because we want to talk about like what we're planning on doing together. So that will be coming soon. This really will just be like an update of everything pregnancy wise. So I am more than halfway there, which is actually crazy. I mean, not crazy in some ways because like the weeks that they're counting, I didn't live all of those weeks pregnant. So when people would say that to me, it was a little bit discouraging because I'm like, I have so much longer to go in the second half. But you know, my mood fluctuates like day to day in terms of like how, you know, confident and calm that I'm feeling. If I am more sick on one day or am in more pain, then my mental headspace is a little more weak and it can kind of like shift to a more negative space. So that's kind of the first thing I think I wanted to address is that 23 weeks, I am still dealing with some sickness. I have tried so many random things, everything from, you know, like for like extended periods of time, completely cutting caffeine, cutting sugar. I am now doing an experiment with less dairy, but I am hesitant with that. That was kind of actually prescribed to me through like applied kinesiology through a chiropractor I've started seeing, and I'm really wary of applied kinesiology. It's kind of like muscle testing for food and vitamin reactions to things, and like half of me does not really believe in that and half of me is like, sure, you never know. So I'm kind of cutting back on dairy right now too as an experiment. But, and I know I still haven't made this video, there is a book that I read, and I've done a lot of research around pregnancy nutrition in general, but there's one book specifically that was recommended to me about pregnancy nutrition, and they actually talk about the benefits of high quality dairy for the baby as well as my body's ability to support the growing baby. So I'm a little bit hesitant of that. But I'm also so sick of this nausea. Part of me is just like, whatever, this is like normal part of being pregnant. But then also so many people have different opinions as to why some women get nauseous through their pregnancy longer than others and some don't. You know, I've tried increasing magnesium. Now I'm taking milk thistle. I've, you know, messed with the times of my prenatal vitamins. I've tried the whole like keeping food in your stomach regularly. There's just so many things. Not that I don't want suggestions. Feel free to leave them because you guys might say something that I've never like thought of or hasn't been recommended to me yet. But I've been trying so many things and I don't want to paint it as too dramatic here. I'm really not that sick, especially when I read how sick some pregnant women get. I'm really not. I am down to pretty much throwing up like once a week. That's kind of where I'm at right now. This morning I was gagging and I didn't actually throw up, so that was great. But I was still nauseous, and like 2 days ago I spent the entire day in bed because I felt like literally like someone had like sucked every ounce of energy out of my body. And I was so nauseous that like talking was too much. Like Dan would be like, how are you doing? And I was like I couldn't even like talk to him because I was just so nauseous. And I kept waking up in the middle of the night so nauseous. So it's like, I kind of equate to him, it's been like the ocean waves, right, McBasin? They come in and then they go, and it comes in and then it goes. And so part of me is like, this sucks. I thought we were supposed to be over, you know, done with this after the first trimester. And then part of me is just kind of like, dude, whatever. I think pregnancy is just really hard for most women, or for a lot of women. I don't want to say most, I don't know those numbers, but I think it's just really hard for a lot of women. And I know it's on a scale and it could be so much worse for me. I just want to give like an actual update of what's happening. So that's kind of the first thing. Definitely still dealing with sickness and a lot of fatigue on and off. That's the other weird thing is those 2 days ago when I was in bed, it was almost like having the flu. Like I was so unbelievably tired. But Dan did remind me, he's like, yeah, you've been having one of these days like once a week where you're down for the count. And then like a day or two later, I'm back up, I'm around, I'm dressed, I'm like, you know, going to church, filming videos, all of that jazz. So it just kind of, it's a day-by-day thing, pregnancy. I'm gonna be going through my notes, just really in no particular order of things that I took. So one thing that I've been getting a lot of questions about is if I have felt my baby boy move at all. And I will say, yes. Now, when I first started taking these notes, it was around like week 17. I've literally been meaning to film this video forever. And I only felt tiny little things occasionally. I actually remember, I think it was like the first one, I was sitting in my sister-in-law's like recliner in California, and I was actually falling asleep with my hands on my belly, and then I felt boop, and I was all, and I knew that was it, that it wasn't just like indigestion. I was like, oh my gosh, that was a kick or whatever. I have felt, I think, considerably less than most pregnant women feel by this point. And it was interesting because when I went in for my 20-week scan, that was one of the first things that the technician brought up in the appointment. And that was funny because I had actually been Googling it that morning, like, why don't I feel my baby move that much? And she literally just brings up to me, hey, just so you know, your placenta has actually attached to the front. So you have basically a barrier between the uterus, you know, then there's the placenta and your belly. She's like, so if you haven't really felt the baby kick, she's like, I just wanted to let you know that's why, and you're probably gonna feel less kicking overall. So I thought that that was crazy. That was like the first thing she addressed in the meeting, and I was like, that's totally, like, I've noticed that. Now I will say since then, the kicking has increased dramatically. I feel him kicking all the time now. Not literally all the time. It's funny because I joke with Dan, I'll be like, oh, he's sleeping, like he's asleep right now, because I haven't felt him, you know, in hours. And then it'll be like, oh, he's awake, because I'll feel like dit, 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 dit. Like I'll feel a bunch of kicks. So that is extremely surreal. It's something that, you know, every woman I think wonders, like, what is that gonna be like? If I get to experience pregnancy one day, what is it gonna be like to have someone in me? And I actually thought that it was gonna hurt, like, ow, ow. I'm only at 22 weeks, so maybe it does hurt by the end. I don't know, because I literally am like, oh my gosh, he's like a pound now. How big is he gonna get? What are his internal kicks gonna feel like? But then again, they are in a sack besides just being in your belly. So I'm like, maybe it's not gonna hurt. Right now, it just feels super cute and miraculous. Like every single time I feel a kick, I like pretty much gasp. And I like draw so much attention to it. I'm like, Dan, I'll call him up. Dan has not felt a kick yet because apparently, well, I think that the timing has been wrong. I think that there have been a few times that if his hand had been there, he would have felt it, because I've seen my belly move. But he thinks that I'm just feeling them too much, and like I'm feeling them more internally than externally. But I feel it on my hand too, not just internally. So he's really bummed that he hasn't felt the kicks yet. He keeps going, I want to feel the kicks. I'm like, I know, baby, soon enough, someday. So we're really excited for when that eventually gets to happen, that he can feel the kicks. Because yeah, man, I'm just like, I feel like I can't even convey. You guys know, and actually I'm thinking we're gonna make a separate video about this because I still get a lot of questions in general about this topic. But I didn't even think I was thinking I wasn't maybe even gonna have biological children for a long time, and that we were only going to adopt. And so all of this, because it was like a year and a half prior, leading up to getting pregnant, of pursuing adoption, of going to classes and filling out paperwork and doing interviews and psychiatric evaluations and all of these things, all of these other things, now experiencing this where it's just kind of like us on our own, you know, not fully. We have like our, you know, healthcare providers, which like I said, we will be talking about very soon, but it's like us on our own and me growing this baby and feeling these things that, like, I don't know, I feel like I can't even properly convey. I mean, every woman that's been pregnant experiences this, so it's not like you all need my conveying of emotions. But at the same time, it's just very overwhelming and miraculous feeling. I literally can't believe I have a human being in me. It's one of those things I feel like you look at other people and you're like, other people get pregnant, like not me. Especially at 32 years old and being with my husband, my partner for 13 plus years. It's like all of that time it was just us, and like we had this ability the whole time to like put our seeds together and make a whole separate plan. It's like now we did it. And we always, like, I'll send him pictures of the ultrasound all the time where I'll be like, baby says hi, and show the picture, and both of us are like, that's a person we made. And I know we didn't make it. I mean, we did make it, but really God made him, but it's him. You get what I'm saying? But it's just all around, like, it's such a trip. Such a trip. So I should probably keep looking at my notes, or this is going to be like an hour-long video. Oh, when I started taking these notes, we were about to find out the genders. So that was a while ago. Yep, changed our birth plan. We'll be making a video about that. Changed my diet. I'll be making a video about that. Okay, so here's something that I experienced, and I've only experienced it twice, and that was round ligament pain. So when I was in California at 17 weeks, I mentioned this in I think in my LA day in my life or week in my life from that trip. I had done a whole workout thing situation when I was in California, and I had basically, it felt like extreme period cramps, and I kind of started freaking out for multiple reasons that once again I'll be talking about in another video, but I was literally like in so much pain for like 7 hours. And finally, my sister-in-law convinced me to text my care provider and be like, hey, this is what's going on. What do you think I should do? And she was like, take a warm bath with Epsom salt. And when I got in the bath, literally the pain diminished by like 80% in like 3 minutes. It was actually incredible. And so I felt a lot more encouraged about the whole pregnancy, birthing process once I had that relief, because I was literally like, how am I gonna handle anything? Like, I'm dying. And round ligament pain, to those of you that don't know, there is a like, almost like a ligament, like a tendon muscle thing that stretches in your belly. And sometimes when women's bellies are stretching, they have that deep pain, and it felt like me to period pain, like period cramps. Oh, the sun. And it was super severe. And I almost had like a round ligament pain hangover the next day, where like my whole middle section of my body was like exhausted from how much pain I was in the day before. And so I was a little bit concerned, like, what's ahead of me? But to be honest, and I'd had that before very mildly, like one other time, and that time was so severe. But that was over a month ago, and since then, I haven't had anything like that since. The closest thing I've had to that, but it's a totally different pain, is I've had a couple of bouts of some bad back pain. So like the last few days, actually on and off, my back, just my lower left, it almost feels like it wants to be sciatica pain, but it's not quite there. Tightness, achiness, occasional sharp pains have kind of been coming in, and that has made me a little nervous at points. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, dude, you just got to make it through to the end. Just take care of yourself, take a bath, you know, rub some Cool Azul pain relief cream on the lower back. Just chill. Take a stretch, take a nap. I'm just kind of like trying to take it one day at a time and just take care of myself. And by the way, we're gonna be addressing this in the video that Dan and I are gonna be filming about my, like, what we're doing for our birth plan. But one thing, I've been banning people like crazy off my channel. I am totally open to suggestions or ideas or alternative research or things that you have heard, or, you know, anyone watching has heard around being pregnant. But I've actually done a lot of research. And so every time someone leaves a comment on my channel that's kind of snotty about like, is anyone else concerned about Nikki doing all the things that you shouldn't be doing when you're pregnant? Or like, oh, this disgusts me that you're doing this while you're pregnant. I literally am like, and you're banned. Like, if you have a rude tone, and also if you haven't been watching long enough or think highly enough of me to believe that I have done research, then I don't want you on my channel. Like, suggestions for things are one thing, or like, hey, well, what about this? That's another, because I would bring someone like that into my living room to discuss and give, you know, and to debate or to give ideas or thoughts. But rudeness is not tolerated. I think I just thought about that because I thought about me saying that my back was hurting, and I thought about someone's comment in one of my videos recently, like about me doing this stuff to myself. And I'm like, dude, I am literally, in my opinion, taking such good care of myself. It's almost like over the top, I feel like. How I'm like actively trying to like eat well, stay active, but not too active, rest, get a lot of rest, but also stay moving. Like really, yeah. So, oh, okay. So my stomach and my boobs are obviously stretching and they have been itchy. So that's been fun. I have been slathering them in, it's something called V6 from Young Living. I think that's what it's called. And it's just an oil blend of like a bunch of good oils, like coconut oil and a sesame oil and a few other oils. So I've been getting real oily because I just assume that the itching is from the skin stretching. So that's been a thing. Real itchy, definitely stretching, slathering it in oil. My boobs and my belly. So the other thing is, I should have mentioned this, but I told you there was no order and I'm just like referring to my notes. I am still doing the half of a tablet of Unisom at night, which Unisom is an over-the-counter sleep aid, but there's some kind of active ingredient in Unisom that when it is mixed with vitamin B6, which I am also taking, is supposed to help with sickness and nausea. And because I am still dealing with it, I'm still taking it. And also the half a tab of Unisom helps me sleep really well. And I really think that that good deep sleep is really great for my body. And I already wake up, like last night was crazy. I only woke up 3 times to go pee and I was like, what kind of miracle is this? I've been like that, like I've always woken up a bunch in the middle of the night to pee my whole life. No, I don't have, to my knowledge or to my doctor's knowledge, any blood sugar issues. I've just been like this since I was a kid. So being pregnant though and having that pressure, it's like kind of good because I'm already kind of used to this life, like the peeing all the time life. But in other ways, it's kind of exasperated a little bit. So having the Unisom is also helpful because it's easy to fall back asleep when I just like get up, go to the bathroom, come back, fall asleep. So yeah, I mean, that's actually the end of my notes. I actually thought I'd be blabbering way longer than this, but I just wanted to give you guys, yeah, an idea of what has been going on in my body. And I just haven't sat down in a while to give you a proper update. If I deliver at 40 weeks, which I know typically first-time moms go a little bit longer, but it's crazy to think that I could go shorter than that. It's like, geez, I could be someone that delivers at 35 or 37 weeks, which by the way, from my research, I think the goal would be to keep the baby baking till 37 if I can do anything about that. Because I think from what I'm reading and seeing, 37 is like the optimal, like try to keep them in that long if possible. But it's crazy to think that if I birth it at 40 weeks, it's like, that's 18 weeks away. That's so soon. 17 weeks if I'm 23 weeks right now. And it's crazy. I've got kind of the next couple of months vaguely mapped out. You know, we're going back to California for my baby shower. We weren't really sure if our baby shower. We weren't really sure if we were going to do one here in Nashville and LA, like do 2. Then we were like, maybe we won't do any in general, because something with the internet, as you guys have seen from all of my giveaways I do in videos, people send us stuff all of the time. Companies send us stuff. You guys send us stuff. And Dan and I were like Dan even said at one point, he's like, do we really need people to be like gifting us stuff? But then as I started talking to friends, they were like, dude, first off, you don't know what people are going to give you. And with a baby shower, you can specifically pick things that you feel like you're going to need to bring this baby into the world. So you can kind of pull specifically from that. But also my friends were like, it's a chance for us to like celebrate this with you. This is like a memory. And so we decided to do it. We're not doing one in Nashville because it felt like overkill. And really, even though I have friends here in Nashville, my longest, oldest friends are all in LA. And so I felt like I really needed to celebrate with those people, like family members. We needed to celebrate with, I keep saying I. It's because I'm the one carrying the baby, so I tend to say I, but it's we. We wanted to celebrate with those people, those family members, those long-term friends. And by the way, I've gotten a lot of questions about our registry. I'm assuming by the time this is up, I don't know because I am lagging, but I have been working on like our registry. And so if that is up and ready, I will link that down below because so many of you have been asking me like, hey, Nikki, if we want to give to you, like, how do we do that? And that's so sweet of you guys. So I'll link that if you are wanting to do that. very cool. And I'm so awkward in the transition. I just couldn't believe when people asked. I'm like, that's so nice of you guys. And yeah, so next couple months are planned. Baby shower is planned out. We have one road trip that's happening around Thanksgiving. We're going to Michigan. Dan is going on like a hunting trip, and I'm going to be hanging out with my friend while they're doing that. And then we're pretty much just going to be home. We have a big plan to do a lot of freezer cooking, and I will be filming and sharing all of our freezer cooking with you. We literally just got 3 days ago a giant freezer for the garage. And so we have a lot of room as of now to be cooking and storing lots of meals. So I'm gonna show you guys my bump now. Let's do it. All right, so I'm never quite sure are you okay? Okay, she's freaking out. So I'm never quite sure how to do these bump dates. I'm like, do I wear something that goes below the bump? Do I wear something that goes over the bump? I'm not sure what's gonna like showcase it the best. So I went to the closet and I decided to put on like lower sweats because there have been a couple times where like I'm wearing my high rise, which I kind of like the high rise, like the spandex that covers, but Dan's like, bring it down, show the belly. So this is what is going on. I have eaten one meal today. And I've mentioned this before that as the day goes on, my bump gets bigger and bigger. And then I go to sleep and then I wake up and sometimes I don't even look pregnant in the morning again, like it'll come back. So I think a lot of that is like digestion and stuff. But if I really try to like relax it all out, that's where I'm at. But that takes effort. Like if I'm being honest, this is really where I'm at right now. Like I kind of hold a little bit, but I'm really not trying to hold very much. This is just like, I'd say where my natural bump is. But like I said, I can let it out to there. So that's kind of what is going on. I feel like my belly looks so white right now. I mean, I am really white, but I feel like it looks extra light with like the windows. I have a full on like Audi belly button now. Yeah, I never had that before. How crazy is that? I guess maybe it's not crazy to you, it's not your belly button, but. All right guys, so that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. It not only lets me know that you guys like seeing these videos, but it's a way for you to support my channel, and for us to continue to grow our community. I just appreciate you all so much, and I will hopefully see you back here soon. All right, bye guys.